right, so now we have a basic UI set up. Now we just need our items to actually do something. All right, we added these items that can spin and all that stuff, but we need to be able to actually pick up items and have them do things. So we're going to do this through inheritance. If you go to your content drawer, C++ classes, open up CPP, global start, public, you'll see item. Go ahead and click on that. Don't double click, just click on it once. Right click. We're going to do create C++ class derived from item. Click on that. And I'm going to call this pickup underscore item. Go ahead and click on create class and wait for that to load. Visual Studio is going to ask you, do you want to reload all? Go ahead and click on reload all. And now we have a PickupItem.h and a PickupItem.cpp. These don't have a whole lot of things in them though. They're actually pretty plain, pretty bare. This is because they're directly inheriting from, if you go to PickupItem.h, you can see that it's inheriting from a item. So it's getting all these things that are in our item.h and item.cpp that we set up way back at the beginning of the project. We get access to them all. So if we actually go ahead and create a blueprint from this, we'll be able to actually just set up to spin. So go ahead and close Unreal. Then go ahead and recompile. Now, once you've done that, if you go into your CPP C++ classes folder, you'll see your pickup item, the underscore item one that we just made. Go and right click and create blueprint class based on pickup item. Put into your blueprint folder, and I'm going to call it BP underscore pickup item. Click and click create. And I'll dock this here. Now you can see that in our code for our item, we set up some variables for rotation X, Y, and Z. If you look at the blueprint for our BP pickup item, we have rotation X, Y, and Z. They're already there. Whatever we do in that parent class is inherited by the child. So we have that rotation X, Y, and Z in here. Nice and easy. But that's not really everything we need. We need to have a mesh and a collision and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and set those up. Now in my item.h, not pickup item, in item.h, we need to add in a collision and a mesh. And we've already done that before. So if I go to playerball.h, I can see we have our for declaration for use sphere component, use static mesh component. Let's copy those, Control C, and then go into our item.h and Control V, paste. There we go. Then we go back to player ball and we look for the sphere component and static mesh component. Copy these, Control C. Go down here to protected and Control V. I'll change the name of this from player ball mesh to item mesh. And I'm going to change the category to just parameters. We'll save. Then if I go to playerball.cpp, I'm going to grab the include files for components, sphere component and static mesh, copy, go to item.cpp, and then paste. And then here, where we have the sphere collision set root and the mesh set root, I'm going to copy these and, guessed it, paste. But we need to change this versus playerball mesh to item mesh and change that here as well. Then we'll save those and compile. So my BP item, they disappeared from my scene. I see these collisions here, but I don't see the mesh. If I open up BP item, I see that we have the static mesh and item mesh, but we also have that cube that we made earlier. We don't need that cube. We already have a mesh, so I'm going to delete the cube. So we have just our sphere collision and our item mesh. with item mesh selected, I'm going to go ahead and set the mesh to, I'll do a pyramid, quad pyramid. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. And I'm going to set the scale, I'll lock it, and I'm going to bring the scale down to like 0.75. I'm going to go to my collision, and I'm going to set the collision to be a lot bigger. So I'm going to go to the sphere radius. I'm going to make that bigger to about right to, let's go with 80. This way the collision is nice and big, easy to hit, easy to see, but isn't so big that we hit it accidentally. Then with the sphere collision still selected, I'm going to scroll down to the collision area, and I'm going to set the collision presets, make sure that's overlap all dynamic. Go to your item mesh and find the collision here to be collision presets, no collision. This will make it so the shape itself doesn't collide with anything, but the collision will handle the collision. There you go. Compile and save. I go back to my scene. Now my items that I had from earlier that were spinning are there, and they're still spinning. Great. But we just did all the work to get our BP item set up for this, not our item. Well, if you go back to BP pickup item, I can see that we have our, boom, sphere collision and our item mesh. Great. In this default scene route, I'm going to go ahead and delete the default scene route, because now we can set up our BP pickup items collision and item mesh. I'm going to set the item mesh for this, for the BP pickup item to be a, let's do a cube, just for right now. I'll make this a lot smaller to about 0.5. Bring that down. And then I'll set the sphere collision for this one to be, the radius to be bigger to about 60. Now, compile and save. So we have our BP items in here already, but now we have BP pickup items that we can attach. Cool. And these all get the same traits of being able to define the rotation, speed, things like that. Finding that could be a little bit weird though. I've got a BP pickup item, because we set the categories, you got to scroll down to find rotation speed, but it's there. Now, so BP item is what we've added this stuff to, and we're going to actually continue adding to this. But our BP pickup item is what we're actually going to want to see in our game and use. So I'm going to grab my BP items, little pyramids that are there, and delete those. All I want in here are these cubed pickup items. Now for this next chunk, I'm going to give you the code for this. We want our objects to be able to bounce up and down. We're going to use something called a sine wave transformation, and also a cosine wave transformation. We'll make that available as well, where they'll bob up and down following the path of a sine wave. We'll use a sine calculation for it. I'm going to provide you the code. You're going to want to put that code down here underneath rotation Z. You're going to want to copy and paste this here. Here we have our amplitude, which will define how high, how much the object will move up and down. Our speed, which will determine how fast it goes. Then we have a blueprint pure function for transform sine, and then transform cosine. So these are functions that we can call in blueprint. Then a private variable for running time, so how much time is elapsed. And then you're going to want to go to item.cpp. Now in item.cpp, you're going to want to paste this code here. This is the functions that actually handle the movement, the transform sign, moving up and down, and transform cosine, which moves up and down in a different pattern. And then finally, down in tick, here, we want to go ahead and do running time plus equals delta time. That's what we call it. So this takes the amount of time that's elapsed and adds that to this running time variable that we made here. That gets used here inside of our functions, where it takes the amplitude times FMath sine, running time times speed. So this handles the sine calculation for us. So save, and I'm going to close Unreal and do a full recompile. And so if I open up my BP pickup item editor, and I'm going to look for, what do we call it? Called it sine parameters. So I'm going to look for sine parameters, search for it actually. Here we have the amplitude and speed of 0.5 and 10. So I have those, but when I press play, they don't move yet. Well, that's because we made the functions, but we didn't actually implement them yet. We could do this inside of C++, but actually we're going to do this one, believe it or not, in Blueprint. Go to our BP pickup item event graph, and event tick. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to search for sine, or transform sine. So I search for transformed, and I get sine and cosine. I take sine, and then I'm going to search for add actor world offset. Connect this here, and take my transformed sine, and I'm going to actually right click delta location, and I'm going to split struct pin. I'm going to take transform sine and connect that to delta x. Compile and save. And so now they are working. Just really, 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 really softly. And it's actually going the wrong direction. So I'm going to break sine. Instead, I'm going to take this and put it in delta y. Compile, and then go to BP pickup item, and I'm going to change my amplitude. I'm going to make this bigger to like 3. Save. Oh, that's still not working because I want them on Z, not Y either. Put it on Z. You can see it work. There we go. Now they bounce up and down. I can see that the speed's a little too fast for what I want it to be, so I'm going to bring the speed down to like 5. There we go. We now have some enticing pickup items. Can't pick them up yet, but we have the items and they can move around in our scene. This is inherited. So eventually when we set up bombs, they'll have the same features. So that's going to be it for this one. Thanks.